I love fashion, and I hope you do too, because this episode of Ingrid's World, it's all about fashion from head to toe. Meet a fashion attorney who will talk about brand protection, brand promotion, and fashion education. She will tell us the difference between two black dresses and allow us to peek into the latest adventures of Simone Butterfly, fashion investigator. Meet CEO and owner of Extreme Indulgence. Extreme Indulgence specializes in 100% virgin hair, jewelry, and accessories. She holds an MBA in management from Golden State University and cites her parents as her role models because they have their own successful business for over 40 years. So, I am so glad you're here because this is about having lots of fun with fashion. Welcome to the show, Mariessa.
Thank you. It's a pleasure to be here.
Well, let's just first start talking about what do you do?
Well, I'm a fashion attorney. I'm a fashion educator and a fashion writer. I've been doing that for a little over 10 years, and I've enjoyed every minute of it.
So, as a fashion attorney, first of all, how did you get involved in
Right. It was such an interesting story, I thought. Well, to me, it was an interesting story. So after I graduated from law school, I went to Howard. And after that, I kind of I did a clerkship with Judge Long in tax and probate. But I really wanted to do something creative. That's really what I wanted to do. I ended up working at the United States Patent and Trademark Office, got assigned to Law Office 106, which happened to handle fashion goods and cosmetics. So it was a perfect place for me. I got to review trademark applications from some of the leaders in the fashion world, Balenciaga, Revlon, Estee Lauder, etc. And so I enjoyed it. I was there a couple years. And then, just like it happened so many times, the government did a big layoff. This was around the dot-com crash in the early 2000s. They laid off, I think, 150 attorneys, which was really interesting because you think when you go into government that this is going to be, somewhat consistent or steady. I was thinking I would go and be able to write or whatever, in my downtime, but it didn't really work out that way. And it actually, God is so good. I ended up then starting my own firm, and it was really, for me, the best decision.
So you have your own firm. What do you specialize in?
I specialize in brand promotion, brand protection. So we basically do intellectual property services for designers and for artists, for other creatives. And that really means doing trademarks, copyright, some patents, contract work, licensing for designers.
Yeah. So it's just really, so that way, I always have a big, concern about my intellectual property.
Yes.
Because it's always about content.
Oh, yes.
So how do you work that? Do you review what they have written?
Well, when it comes to the creative entrepreneur, typically, they're the ones coming up with the big ideas. But sometimes it's hard to protect that big idea. Sometimes you're trying to figure out, how do I capture this so that someone else will not misappropriate it? And so there are lots of different ways. When it comes to fashion, though, we're limited somewhat in the United States because we don't have very strong copyright protection. There really isn't strong copyright protection for the actual utilitarian nature of clothes. The idea is that, well, everybody needs to be able to have certain holes in a shirt, to make a shirt or something. And so that you don't really get that type of coverage. Now, whereas in Europe, they have specific copyright protection. But here we don't. And so there was an idea to extend legislation, but that hasn't happened yet. And so we're left with, how then do we protect fashion?
Yes.
Well, you can do it sometimes with a little bit of copyright, meaning the pattern or the design. You can copyright it like a picture or something, or like a form of art.
Wow.
You can maybe copyright jewelry, a jewelry design, something like that. But really, when you get right down to it and you talk about fashion, what we're talking about is the brand. That sometimes is what resonates, and that's one thing that you can truly protect under current laws, under trademark laws, through trademark protection. So that's like protecting the big brand names like Gucci or Estee Lauder or you name any big brand that you think of, or even a small brand. And so those are the things that you trademark. So my love is trademarks, because I think that way that you can distinguish yourself in a saturated marketplace through your name.
Yes, in a saturated marketplace.
A saturated market, yeah.
And I really love the fact that, you really also, you use your legal work, but then you also do pro bono work too.
Yes, I was fortunate to serve as president of the Washington Area Lawyers for the Arts for a term that just ended a few months ago. And during my tenure there, I was able to help to develop programming for artists and some of our members. And so we would have Creative Entrepreneur Series where we would have seminars and such for our artists. But also, when you're under a certain economic level, you can get pro bono services. You can register with the Voluntary Lawyers for the Arts organization across the nation.
Oh my goodness.
And a big firm might pick up your case, you know, and then you will be able to have some support. Because it can be hard out here when you're up against like the big Goliath company.
Yes, excellent. And then also another organization I remember coming in contact with you was the High Tea Society.
Oh yes, yes. My mom, who is a retired judge, Judge Mariessa Terrell, with DC Superior Court, founded a wonderful organization called the High Tea Society, and she did that in 1997. Basically, it's about exposing young women who are in the inner city to things that will give them a worldview. So that can sometimes take the form of etiquette, and so that they can have social manners and decorum to be able to navigate their house or the White House. It's also about just exposure, you know, taking them to the opera, taking them to on college tours. It's really anything that will enable them to feel comfortable in a setting that might sometimes feel a little foreign to them. We want them to say, oh yes, I've done that. Oh, I know exactly what that is. Because that sort of gives them a little sense of security when they venture outside of their home environment.
That just means everything. And it sounds like very much that you, your family, all believe in giving back.
Oh yes, that's very important. I learned that at an early age.
Oh my good. So now, the Adventures of Simone Butterfly.
Simone Butterfly, my alter ego, right? She kind of made her debut very soon after I started my own firm. Because the question was, how do I find fashion clients in Washington? Because, you know, as attorneys, we run a fine line between being promoters and being, you know, considered serious advocates. And so you don't really want to blur the line. But I thought, you know, if I created this entity, or this little young lady who is a fabulous freelance fashion investigator, and so she can kind of go to the parties and she can sort of interview people and find out what's going on, and then she can whisper that in my ear so that I'll know what clients to run after. So it's been really interesting. I've enjoyed it. She has now sort of taken on a life of her own. She has her own column that runs in the Mid-City newspaper called Retail Therapy. And she has a blog called Yoo-Hoo Darling. And so we hope that she'll be coming out with some merchandise soon and maybe a book, something fun to talk about her adventures. It's nice because it's a way that I can sort of express myself outside of the law.
Oh my goodness, because honestly, I went to an event of yours and I was like, oh, there's Simone.
And you know what? And I respond to that because at any given moment, it could be me.
And I was saying, yeah. No, Mariessa, she's an attorney. And there's Simone. And she was in a Barbie doll box.
Yes, she has her own box and she'll pop out on occasion at an event. That's true. I've been privileged to do a lot of different events. Some as benefits for the High Tea Society. We did some fashion shows back in the early 2000s to honor different folks, from Andre Leon Talley to Rachel Roy and Stephen Burrows, and they all came to the city. We had big shows at the Four Seasons and the Omni. So I'm thinking maybe doing some other things coming up. But I mean, fashion is what I love. It is just a wonderful outlet for me. I think of it as fantasy. And it's just great.
And it's so wonderful because I remember reading, you were in an article in the Washington Post, and I remember I was like, it was a few lawyers who really brought style and fashion to the courtroom. And that just really was like, whoa.
It's interesting because, you know, things have changed. There was a time when you had to really, there was a uniform that you needed to wear to be taken seriously, and many times it meant a color palette of, you know, the dark grays and the blacks and the navy. And while that is still it is still very true. Now we get a little, sometimes you can take a little kick and do something a little different. If you're not before a judge, you know, sometimes the judges still have a dress code for an attorney, but in other venues, you can.
Well, I love the idea that you're able to have these two alter egos, which I, again, really thought for sure there was two separate people.
Right.
You do it extremely well.
Thank you.
And then on top of that, what I really love is the lightheartedness. What's nice about your fashion, your blogs, because I do read it all the time, you are embracing everyone, their inner style.
Yes.
So it's not a critical or a critique on fashion,
No.
but you embrace other people. Tell us a little bit about that.
Well, I mean, I think that when I really fell in love with fashion, I was a young girl, and I guess a lot of us look at our mothers as being these glamazons, and I'm watching her put on lashes before she goes to court, and all this stuff, and I'm thinking, this is just great.
Oh, I love it.
And then I would go to Martin Luther King Library on Saturdays and just sit on the floor and look at the picture books. And I was trying to figure out, how do I incorporate that into my lifestyle? I'm a practical person, though, at heart. I have a creative side, and so I thought the law is where I need to be. How do I infuse that with fashion? And so I think really that fashion is about individual style. It's about getting to know yourself and then being courageous enough to show others that part of you. I think that it's important to celebrate the uniqueness of each of us, and so that's what Simone Butterfly does. She tries. I think there's so many other places where you can go to get a critique, but for us, we like to celebrate the different unique.
I guess
bits about others.
that's why I save it, because it is a celebration. It uplifts you, because I'm like, especially when I see the little cell phone pop up, it says "you, darling."
Exactly.
And so it's like, oh, this is Simone, and what she's doing. And I love it, what you said, how you keep, what the oven is used for.
Oh, right. To store all my magazines. I think that, I just think that everyone has a different way of doing things. And that should be celebrated too. Like, you don't have to fall into a cookie cutter mold. I remember when I first started talking about fashion law, nobody understood what I was talking about. And they were thinking that you better be careful because, you don't want to make it too fluffy and fun where people won't take you seriously. But, I was able to somehow, do it in a way that, yes, I'm still writing. I just recently published a law journal article in intellectual property and a trademark defense. Aesthetic functionality as a defense. But what I'm saying is that there are ways to do it.
That's
you can
right.
do both. You shouldn't let other people try to put you in a box.
Well, I'm telling you, it's been a pleasure having you here on this show.
Thank you very much.
You are a delight. I mean, I know, I can imagine having you as an attorney. I would feel really great being in your hands. Continue good luck.
Thank you very much. It's been a pleasure.
You.
Thanks for having me on the show.
Thank you. Coming up next, we're going to be talking to Allison Blow, President and CEO of Extreme Indulgence, who will be sharing her knowledge of hair extensions. So stay tuned. We'll be right back. Welcome back to Ingrid's World. I am your host, Ingrid Paris-Hicklin. I want you now to meet Allison Blow, President and CEO of Extreme Indulgence. Welcome to the show, Allison.
Thank you so much. My pleasure.
So thrilled to have you here.
Great to be here.
Well, you have first of all, I'm happy that you're here because you're bringing something that's near and dear to my heart.
All right.
So tell us about Extreme Indulgence.
Extreme Indulgence is a business that I decided to start because I love hair. I love for women to feel beautiful and to look beautiful. And Extreme Indulgence is a company that's 100% virgin hair, human hair, that is. We also specialize in jewelry, different accessories as well. As you can see, some of the accessories are here, handbags, necklace sets, and also this is more of a dressy necklace set. We also sell things for everyday use as well. And of course, the virgin hair.
And the virgin hair.
Yes.
So let's first of all, before we start looking at the hair, why did you decide to start this business? What inspired you?
There are so many women who want affordable items. to beautify themselves, and they can't find those affordable items.
Nice.
So especially in the Northern Virginia area. So I decided, okay, this is my passion, this is something that I enjoy doing. Why not start a business and give these ladies some of the things that they're looking for? So economics, supply and demand. So
Smart.
that's what I'm doing.
Smart businesswoman. I'm telling you. Well, let's talk about some of the products that you have here. This is beautiful bag. Tell us a little bit about that.
Okay, this bag right here is just an evening bag. I mean, you can take it anywhere, match it up with a nice outfit. I mean, a plain black dress.
Yes.
Also, you can just dress it up with a suit, something similar to what you're wearing, and
it
go
would
out.
work.
It's just is simple and it's easy. And it also comes with a shoulder strap, so you can take it on your shoulder as well, or you can hold it in your hand.
Nice. And this beautiful necklace here.
Okay, that necklace set is very beautiful. It's, of course, not one of a kind, but it is very elegant. I mean, you can wear a simple black dress, nice pair of heels, and you can just have this on.
Beautiful.
And a nice handbag, and you're set.
Now, of all the items, here's the queen of the items.
Yes.
Tell us a little bit about now this is a hair extension.
Yes, it is.
So already I'm looking at it, it looks very different.
Okay.
Tell us about that.
This is virgin Brazilian hair. It's very soft. It's 100% virgin hair. Now, at Extreme Indulgence, we really go far and beyond, and we try and find the best product we can for our customers. So when it's Brazilian hair, it is actually cut from a person's hair, from their head.
Wow.
It's actual Brazilian hair. It is then, taken to the factory. It's sewn, sewed on and whatnot. And all of the hair is in one direction. It is thick all the way into the end. It is bouncy and it's flowy, and it's 100% human hair. So you treat this just like you would your regular hair. Now, the only thing is with extensions, it's not attached to the human head anymore. So therefore, you normally secrete oils in your hair. So
Right.
therefore, with this hair, you do have to put some type of oil on it to keep it looking good. And you can keep this hair and it will last up to a year.
Oh, so it sounds like almost like an investment in a
It
sense.
is absolutely an investment.
Oh my
Absolutely an investment. And it feels good, flows, you wash it, it will come right back.
Wow, very, very different, very unique. Wow, and I had to let everyone know this really feels like just like regular hair.
Exactly. And a lot of ladies don't understand, but some ladies, they're not into weaves because they're like, I don't want the full head of weave. But what you can do, say if you want to go out for an evening and you just want to add that little length to your hair, all you have to do, you take this, you take a piece of the track, measure it on your hair, and then you can actually take clips that they sell right in the store, sew it on and clip it in, and you put your hair over, and it just gives you that extra little length.
Oh my word.
People have been doing this for years.
So, okay, so when so guilty pleasure, but I watched a lot of reality shows.
Absolutely.
So I'm looking at their hair and I'm like, oh my gosh, their hair must really be long. But it really is not.
Right.
It's this type of hair?
Exactly.
Oh my
Exactly.
word.
But let me tell you, one great thing about the hair, you can get it in all lengths, from 10 inches all the way to 40 inches.
Oh
so
my word.
it's long, but it's about 100 grams. But the longer the hair is, the smaller the track, the shorter the track, because you have more hair. So if you say, for instance, if you get some hair that's say about 26 inches,
Okay.
you want to get at least maybe 4 or 5 bundles if you like a full head of hair.
What?
Yes. But with this is only, this is 14 inches here, and you will only need 2 of these to do a full head.
Oh, okay.
Just only 2.
Only 2.
2 bundles.
Wow, that's fascinating. So tell us a little bit about your customer base. So what type of person are looking, how does that happen?
I have all women. Looking. I have them as young as 13. Honestly, my niece is 13. And for pageants and different things like that, we will put extensions in her hair to give her that little added length. So any young lady or any older lady who wants that extra length to their hair, that is my customer base, anywhere from 13 plus.
I love that whole idea, and I had to, mention to you that I mentioned to my mother about this show, and she said, "Oh my goodness, I can't wait to see the show." And I was talking to my girlfriend and said, "Oh my goodness," because the 100% virgin hair is something that we don't ever hear about or even know that it exists. How did you decide on that particular product? How did you find your product? Because that's interesting to me.
Believe it or not, I used to purchase the beauty supply store hair.
Okay.
I didn't really care for it too much because it was very stiff, it wouldn't move or blow, and it matted up quite a bit. Even if you added some oil, it would get even worse. So I'm like, there has to be something. So actually just doing a little research, and I found out about the virgin human hair, and it was quite expensive. So then I started looking further and further into it and found something that was fairly reasonable.
Oh my goodness. So now let's talk about your vision for your company.
All right. I have so many things that I want to do with Extreme Indulgence. Short term, I am working on the website.
Nice.
The website is up and running, but I want a new look and a new feel to the website. I'm adding new products as well. So that's short-term vision. Long-term vision, I would like to eventually open up some physical locations, some stores, especially in the Northern Virginia area, because there aren't really many stores at all. I think there may be one in the area, but that's it. So I would like to open up a physical location, a few physical locations within Northern Virginia, because the hair is very reasonable.
Yeah, and it's really, I was reading an article in More magazine, and they talked about as a person, they were addressing, let's say, over 40, 50-year-olds, and they said one of the things is that don't be afraid to change your hair, add hair if you like to. Let me tell you, what has been the reaction of your customers when they finished getting their hair?
Well, most customers are very elated. They're very happy. I mean, the before and the after picture, truly amazing. So it's all about a woman feeling beautiful. Whether it's with hair or without hair, it's all about how they feel. And if you want to get a little hair and it makes you feel, a little better, why not?
Why not?
You live once. It's all about indulging yourself because you deserve it.
So hopefully I will have other people who are thinking about businesses and are now going to think about what would be some advice that you would like to give a potential entrepreneur.
Potential entrepreneurs, research.
Okay.
There have been so many different things, especially about the website, that I've come into major problems with because it's considered an e-commerce site. So it's all over. And not all companies' platforms is sufficient for an e-commerce site. So initially I had 2 different platforms that did not work. So what I did, I hired a professional to do the website that I'm currently doing. So now it's sufficient. I'm able to do different types of shipping and whatnot and taxes and everything else and get my pictures vibrant HD quality like I want them. So research. Yes.
Oh my goodness. What do you do to keep yourself motivated?
Motivated. I'm gonna be honest with you. I think I'm just naturally motivated.
I get that energy.
One
from
thing
you.
I can definitely say, my parents motivate me.
Okay, there you go.
They motivate me. I talk to them literally every day. And we have a very, very close-knit family, very tight family base. So just talking to them pushing me, telling me, oh, you can do whatever it is that you want to do, and just that positivity. And it just pushes me even further. And I just try and pull that around and share it a little bit. And I want to say this also, I make sure that I give back to the community as well.
Tell us a little bit about that.
Well, I'm in different organizations, and within those organizations, I do quite a bit of community service. Alone, last year I did 117 hours of community service.
You were
So
not playing around.
I love it. I love it. I love working, especially with the young kids, because I mean that's our future, and we want to see them grow and prosper. And so it's just kind of getting them and talking to them and encouraging them.
Well, Allison, it's been a pleasure having you here on the show. You just burst full of energy, and
Thank you, Ingrid.
I think I'm going to be seeing you.
That sounds good. That sounds good.
We'll be
You're gonna love it.
talking. I'd like to thank all of our guests for a wonderful show, and thank you, audience, for welcoming me into your world. My final thought that I hope that you will think about is from Coco Chanel. Fashion fades, but only style remains the same. Thank you for watching Ingrid's World, and don't forget to like us on Facebook for instant Ingrid World news, or see ingridsworld.org. Thanks for watching. I would like to thank Extreme Indulgence for underwriting this episode of Ingrid's World. Extreme Indulgence specializes in 100% virgin hair, extension, jewelry, and accessories. For more information on Extreme Indulgence, visit www.extremeindulgence.com or call 855-388-6958 for more information.